Quick Trip has their own brand of Gatorade, their own brand of potato chips, but what they're really known for is the dairy they truck in daily from La Crosse, Wisconsin. While the day before school starts is always busy for last-minute shoppers, when there's a gloomy forecast outside, it makes the business even better. Now, it's not all going to be work while they're here. They're going to have some time for some fun, too. On Thursday, they're hanging out with the Boys and Girls Club at the Duluth Heritage Center. Alan, right before the 9 skydivers were going to jump out of the 2 planes, the 2 planes crashed. One plane broke into 3 pieces and fiery debris went flying everywhere. The city says they're on board. They say they'll give $100,000 for the new skate park. But with all this snow on the ground, it may seem weird to even think about a skate park. But these guys have already raised some money. Good evening, I'm Laurie Stribling. Thanks for joining us tonight. Details in a developing story are starting to come into the newsroom tonight. UMD head football coach Kurt Weezy confirms between 20 and 30 players were cited for underage drinking last night. ABC News has learned there may be a dozen Minnesotans fighting with terrorist groups in Syria. This comes as the U.S. and other allies consider what steps to take against the growing threat of groups like ISIS. Officials say the storm caused damage all over northern St. Louis County, and where the storm hit, it hit hard. My heels are literally off the edge of a building 9 stories in the air, so to say I'm a little nervous would be an understatement. So how practical is this couponing stuff? I've never done it before, so I'm going to test it out. They have apples so big you can barely fit your hand around them, and you can find them in a sundae or even in your chili. Let me tell you, it's still pretty fun here at night. There's rides going, the lights are on, people are having fun, but I have to tell you, I don't know if I want to get on any of these rides here after all that I've ate today. I've had fried cookie dough, fried pickles. The Duluth Fire Department is asking people to stay out of the water on Park Point until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. They say swimming conditions are dangerous and rip currents are possible. There are currently no lifeguards on Park Point. Good morning, I'm Laurie Stribling. Here's what's making headlines. Some good news for Labor Day travelers. Gas prices are down compared to this time last year. The city of Grand Rapids and Police Chief Jim Denny have agreed to part ways. Denny says there's no hard feelings. He's been on family medical leave. And it's the final day of the Duluth Superior Pride. There's a parade at noon down Tower Avenue in Superior. Now here's a look at your holiday weekend forecast.
There are 47 names that I personally know.
On Main Street in Sandstone.
It's a traveling cemetery.
A piece of Washington, D.C., comforting vets here at home.
We have veterans from one end of this place to the other who have actually, for the first time, started to find peace after 50 years.
The memorial is 254 feet long. That's half the size of the one in Washington, D.C. There's 58,000 names here, and for the people here, they're more than just names.
I had friends killed there.
This Vietnam vet came all the way from Silver Bay.
It brings back memories.
Searching for a name and some closure.
I went to high school with him. He was only 23 when he got killed, and, you know, had his whole life to go.
And to thank veterans for that sacrifice.
They kind of stretch so, you know, you can have a bigger head or a smaller head.
A suitcase full of gratitude.
I just had the idea and I thought I had some yarn and I thought, well, you know, I'd like to give back.
For 3 decades, this memorial has been on the move.
This one travels all over the United States.
On board, the power to heal.
This one will still hold you, just like that one. If you come here looking, you will find what you're looking for.
In Sandstone, I'm Laurie Stribling for Eyewitness News.
We have been just plowing around the clock.
Over the last 48 hours, Ben Crawford has spent a whole lot of time here, cleaning up the mess left behind from this week's storm.
But it was really windy and blowing and icy underneath.
And it seems this story has been on repeat for the last couple months.
The winter that'll never end. It's been a long winter. It's been extremely snowy the second half of the winter.
Kelly Fleisner heads up plowing efforts for the city of Duluth. He says crews have been out 30 times this winter. The average is 23. And most of those plowable snows have happened more recently.
We're probably over budget by 100 to 150,000 just on the 2013 side of this winter.
Now it may look like it here that they have a lot of salt and sand on hand, but officials say they've already used way too much of this, and it may affect next winter.
We're starting to eat into what we're supposed to have available next fall and early winter, so we're getting a little bit nervous about that.
That's because their budget is set up for the calendar year, so what they do now catches up with them down the road.
We're kind of like farmers. It's unpredictable. You get what you get, and you just have to deal with it.
But more snow or not, Fleisner won't sacrifice safety, but instead shift funding around to keep people like Crawford on the road. In Duluth, I'm Laurie Stribling for Eyewitness News. Weicker Acres has been around for about 7 years, but in the last year they're putting all their focus on pigs, and the surrounding communities are responding well. Pigging out never looked so good. Green grass, room to move. It's the recipe for good business and happy pigs.
I guess it's in my blood. I didn't know it was there. I've always liked bacon.
This is farmer Matt Weick.
Oh, I can just roll her over like a dog. Oh yeah.
He makes pasture-raised pork a priority.
This has got so much more nutrients than a dried out grain.
These porkers chow down on things like sugar beets, carrots, and pumpkins.
Pork is the most sensitive meat there is to input.
And a little tender, loving care in the pen
This girl, she's just a sweetheart.
ends up bringing home the bacon.
Provides for a better flavor all around, I would say, yeah.
At Lake Avenue Cafe, Tony Barron says it's a difference you can taste.
It's nice to be able to go out and actually see the pigs that you're going to be cooking one day, and also see how they're raised.
And that's not the only rave review for Weicker Acres. Northern Waters Smokehouse also serves up the local meat.
The fat is beautiful, and if you're in my kind of business, the fat is where it's at.
Not looking to eat out?
This is our last thing of bacon.
Head over to the Whole Foods Co-op.
But it's doing well, and it's really nice to have a local meat supplier. It's the first one we've actually had that's like in the area.
While businesses savor the pork, Matt is soaking up time with his pigs.
They're enjoyable to be around. They're smart animals.
So what's next for Weicker Acres? On top of raising pigs, they also want to raise all the food they eat. In Renshaw, I'm Laurie Stribling for Eyewitness News.